Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 versus 1 on Fata Morgana. Playing northern side as the Imperial Guard, we've got Fagaraki. On the southern side as the Necrons, we've got Char Space Cow. Char Space Cow will be opening with quadruple Builder Scouts, double Necron Warriors, and a Plasma Generator. And Fagaraki is going to open with a couple of Guardsmen, Tech Priest and Seer, a Plasma Generator, and a Tactica Control. So, leave it on our boys and girls. Where on earth are you going? Right, this Builder Scout decided that he's not playing the game. Well, you know what? That's staying in. I don't care what happens in the future. I don't care what this intro is like. That's just going to have to stay in just for reasons. What on earth was I going to say in this opening? Yes, I remember now. So, much like most games where I don't know the players, I've not seen these guys play it before. I watched it all the way through. And so I'm going to make this one into a bit of an unofficial PvP workshop. I think that both players are quite skilled enough that doesn't warrant a full-blown PvP workshop episode. But there's a few quite interesting stratagem things that we can discuss in this. So, as the usual caveats, anything that I say are done in good faith. I'm trying to be nice and friendly and giving pointers to these players and the players in general that watch this program, YouTube show, whatever you casts, whatever you call these things. And yeah, nice people in the comments if I could make one request. So yeah, so tactical control for an opening, very interesting. 9 out of 10 times you will see the Imperial Guard open with a infantry command, mainly because for obvious reasons you can get your company commander out and you can come along to the Necron side of things and bash things up. Now, I wonder if the idea here is that the tactical control allows them to get their weapons, so grenade launchers might be useful for getting some early aggression on into the Necron side of things, or maybe a quick tier 2 going into plasma guns might be the way forth here, since the Necrons are exclusively heavy infantry, with the exception of, I can never remember if Wraiths are infantry or heavy infantry. But either way, plasma guns are always good against the Necrons. And I saw in the comments a couple of days ago someone asking what to do as a Necron player if you're going up against someone who's quite aggressive in the early games. And, you know, me being a terrible human being, I saw that comment today. I'll respond to that later, and then completely forgot. So I'm responding to it now, baby. I'm responding to it now. So if you are a Necron player, or any kind of player as a faction who's quite passive in the early game, there's a couple of things that you can do if you know full well that someone's going to be coming in and rustling your jimmies in the early stages of the game. One thing that a lot of Necron players do is that they'll build 4 plasma generators and then they will put a ghost turret somewhere near where it covers one strategic point, covers the Necron monolith, and also covers these bits and bobs here. As if you are seeing people coming down, yeah, you might see one hero, commander, whatever you would call them. You would see a commander coming down and maybe a unit to support. And the commander will normally have to tank the damage from the turret, and, you know, everyone else will then start trying to take that down as well. While they're taking that down, obviously your 2 Necron Warrior squads are coming in and bashing them, and generally that will help you sort stuff out like that. We'll also sometimes see Necron Builder players come over here, and they would do something like build up a ghost turret in the enemy base. Obviously, Fata Morgana, this is an ideal place to build it. But I mean, in other maps, you can just see them just build up near a strategic point of some description. That will then force the opponents to not attack your base, but attack the ghost turret itself. Although generally that will sometimes go a bit awry, as you can't defend it as well with your Necron warriors. And I forgot what other things I was going to say. So there, we'll leave it there for now. Guardsmen are capturing the critical locations on either side. Critical location countdown victories are not on, but still always good to go for, as it gives you a extra little bit of blue money. I think it is 6 in total. And yeah, it's always nice. If you can get it, you can get it. You have the Necron Lord out for Char Space Cow. Wonderful, especially if you're going up against a range composition like this. They will be able to jump in, beat people up, tie them up in close combat so they can't fire along. Also is, whatchamacallums does, Forbidden Archive artifacts are great for dealing with those kinds of guys. I've seen that these guys are kind of standing around a little bit. If you are a player and you're thinking, right, okay, I need to send people over, capture things, if you select your unit, shift, right click on something, and then, or left click, something like that, one of the clicks, and then click somewhere else. The moment they finish capturing this, they will then start moving to wherever you click afterwards. You queue up commands, so that way you don't leave your boys and girls standing around for any length of time unnecessarily. Under Mechanized command out for Fagaraki. And a Psyker, which is interesting. Psyker to spot any infiltrated units, also to get some zaps in on some single targets, while also some zaps on group targets, breaking morale and such. Imperial Guard uses their long-range scan to see what the Necron people are up to. And the Necrons aren't really doing all that much. They are just thinking, right, okay, if the Imperial Guard were coming down here to, you know, decap their relics and stuff, may as well just stay in the base and build as many plasma generators as humanly possible. So this is quite the economy-based build. Although, in saying that, I don't know if this is too much. I reckon probably 6 in the early game is good enough. You tech up into tier 2, you then get your plasma generator upgrade, and that'll see you through the vast majority of the game. But then again, when he does get the upgrade for his plasma generators, that will be a damn fine thing indeed. Necrons vying for position. The early Mechanized command bringing out some Sentinels. Necron Lord jumps straight on in. Plasma guns on these guys, as we've mentioned before. A zap from the Psyker to bring down the Necron Lord's health a little bit. Maybe he's going to go for a whole smorgasbord of Sentinels. You are indeed. It's not a bad idea. You get those autocannons on them. And there's no autocannons on them at the moment. But when they do get them, if they do get them, they'll do remarkable damage against the Necron Warriors. John Cena Beam coming down to force these guys backwards. Although the John Cena Beam will probably have a less of an effect going on here, as the Sentinels can kind of just, if they're in range of it, they can just fall back. These guys don't seem to care about it. They are just, you know what, you could take your solar pulse, shove it where the sun don't shine, ironically enough. That's the Necron Warriors. Fall back a little bit. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to mention about Necrons in the early game. You can, if you get an early summoner, is it called summoning portal? If I can get the full name out of it. It's Sunday name, as it were. Yeah, so you can be a little bit more aggressive once that's open, as you can bring the Necron Warriors forward and start harassing or defending farther flung areas. And the moment you get in situations like this, you just teleport them back home where it's safe. Although these guys obviously teleporting back over here has not done them any favours. Now, the Immortals are going to do remarkable damage against the Sentinels if they are able to get into range. But Fagaraki, which I do believe, is that Dwarvish for Skaven? Is it Dwarvish for human? Something like that. I don't speak Dwarf, believe it or not. I'm a tall 5'10", I'll have you know. Practically a giant over in the East Yorkshire section. We're all quite small over here, I would have to say. Went to Birmingham the other weekend. People over there, quite tall. Must be something in the water. That soft water that the Southerners drink. Anyway, yeah, the Immortals, not the longest range people. We can see already just 2 free volleys from them. They're quite fast firing rate as well. So the Sentinels are going to be having a hard time taking these guys on, but they can just bob and weave in. And if they've got a strong line of guardsmen in front of them to basically kill these guys quite quickly, that should be all right for them. I don't know if the Sentinels have a longer range than the guardsmen. So if you have got the guardsmen here, Sentinels behind, and they can wombo combo that damage incoming. Passing a heavy ghost turret, which again will be able to kill the Sentinels quite nicely. Heavy destroyers, that's what you'd want to see from Char Space Cow here. Though they are a tier 3 unit, so I have to wait a little bit for them. Sentinels just manoeuvring around, keeping that map control on the go. And if the critical location countdown victories were on, then the Imperial Guard would have probably won this by now. Although then, in saying that, that may have actually inspired Char Space Cow to play a little bit more aggressively. He's just staying in the base at the moment, continuously building up more plasma generators. And for those in the know, the more plasma generators you build, the more expensive they become, and the longer it takes to build them as well. That's why I mean that having 6 in total is probably a little bit better. No, it's just, oh, never mind, I thought I was going to build another one. Another thing that the Necrons in Unification specifically can do against these Sentinels is that they can get their Ghost Arcs, anti-vehicle stuff, and a lot faster than your Immortals. Can also pop Immortals inside them as well to maneuver them around. Immortals have been spotted by the Guardsmen. Wonderful use of the long-range scanner from these guys at the moment. If the Immortals could just wangle their way on over here. You know, the Sentinels will see that. Badger, can you see them at the moment? Yes, you can. You know exactly where they are. So nice use of the long-range scanners there. Gun economy's been 97 and 60 compared to 30% and 100. So even though you've got, so look at this, even though you've got 1 million plasma generators, I mean, I suppose 125, I mean, it's remarkably good for the Necrons. But then you also, since you're inside your base at the moment, what are you going to spend it on? You've not got exactly the massive amount of squad cap that you need. I suppose one of the great summoning core finishes, you can now go for vehicles, which would be ideal. Enhanced disruption field, increased damage from the Necron warriors. As the Imperial Guardsmen just stand around, not particularly doing much. I will fast forward it just a smidgen, seeing what else they're up to. They're going for another mechanized command. You like the placements of these mechanized commands, as they are on either side for defensive reasons. Should the Necrons require it, Necron Lord shakes over onto this side. And he does have his other upgrades, like the phylactery, increasing health regeneration, and also reducing the range damage incoming, I do believe. I imagine he's also gone for a phase shift as well, as is the single-handedly most popular combination of Necron Lord stuff. Solar Flare being thrown in there, but it's not exactly going to do much, as there's no follow-up for it. Necrons aren't going to be gaining any ground here. I suppose that has sent the Imperial Guard back home. They've gone for some Medusas, which are the anti-building and vehicle variant of the Basilisk. Shorter range, I think it also does a little bit more damage to infantry as well. So you run the risk of having it being more vulnerable, as obviously it's close to the front lines. But then, in saying that, it does more damage. So, you know, swings and roundabouts in that case. Necrons are now finally pushing out to recap all their bits and bobs. Fleet of Sentinels come on over there. And there are no Immortals on this side. He's decided to place all his models in one basket, so to speak. These guys are not having very Merry Christmas. Necron Lord comes on over, and this would be the ideal time for Solar Pulse. So that would then force these guys away from this place, allowing the Build Scabs to cap, but they're not capping at the moment. Dear oh dear. There we go. Precious seconds wasted. There's that Necron Lord. His commander armor resisting the autocannon stuff quite nicely. And now we're seeing Scorpion Destroyers, which are my favourite Necron unit at the moment. Absolutely. I mean, just have a ganders at them. Beautiful models from, I do believe it's the... Oh, what's that? Blood Angels versus Tyranid game. The Hexagon-based, tactical, turn-based, whatever game. I forget what it's called, but I do believe that's where these models come from. Could be wrong there. And, yeah, they're just cool, aren't they? But probably not ideal in this situation, as these guys are armed with their autocannons. They can run away from the Scorpion Destroyers and then destroy them off in the distance. The Necrons, now that they've got their enhanced disruption fields, now that they've got something on the front lines, they've also got some Immortals over on this side. Don't know where the second squad's gone. They've gone over here. Oh no, you're over here. You are a third squad. So now they've got a fairly decent unit composition to go up against the Imperial Guard. Medusa firing shots off in this general direction. So you do a fair bit of damage to the Necron warriors. It's going to be quite difficult for them. That's why I'm saying that the heavy destroyers would be the ideal thing. They can come in, snake around their impressive speed, and take down the Medusas, as well as the Sentinels. Throwing the Solar Pulse over here. Again, ideally Solar Pulse will be over here. It takes these guys ages to reposition. I mean, the amount of damage that they will be able to bring down, especially when supported with some plasma guns, major pain. Got the cast guns out now, so the Imperial Guard are in tier 3. Scorpion Destroyers being shut down most unceremoniously. Necron Warriors can't keep up those Scorpion Destroyers neither. It's a bit of a pain. Medusa, third one of its kind. Now sent all these guys back. And it's good that he's not overstayed his welcome. Got a bit of a push on, but lost his Necron Lord in the process. That's a sad time for all. At this stage, the Necron player should be thinking, right, okay, well, I've got £1 million here, and I have got fairly decent amount of squad cap now that I've reclaimed all the obelisks that I could get. So, probably better to just hang fire a bit. get some more units on the go. Medusa's now moving forward, which is a bit risky. Necron Lord has come back. One problem for the Necrons is that whenever the Necron Lord falls down, that's where he gets back up. He's got to get out of there ASAP. But no, he's going to stay over there. Ah, no, he's going to come back over and start smashing around this Medusa. Imperial Guardsmen and some Cassicans being zapped apart by these immortals that have now also gone for some Tesla carbines. Should help them against the heavy infantry. Breaks the morale, pushes them back, got the pariahs on the front lines, which will be able to hustle and tussle with the Ogrins. Flanking command squad will not be ideal for them. And that's what I mean, there we go. Wonderful solar pulse. Forced that Medusa back. All nice stuff. Medusa over here. Now Scorpio Destroyers could turn around and just smash this up. It would be the number one thing that they could do. All the Immortals coming over and blasting it apart. Oh, they've got one squad of Immortals over. In fact, two squads of Immortals over here. There we go. One Medusa probably going to be ripped asunder as the pariahs are getting their slow down debuff on everyone that they crack over the heads with. Beautiful Marauder bomber bombing run there. Damaging friend and foe alike, but just wave the Imperial Guard. Necron Lord being an absolute nuisance in the background, forcing a couple of units just to stay behind. When Necrons make a push on over. Ogrins being slowly but surely broken down. They've got a priest in there, so they're probably surviving a little bit longer due to their priest God Save the Emperor ability, which I will learn the name of that one day. But at this point, what's the point? Named it now. Can't stop me. I'm grown up, I can do what I'm on. Let's hear my mum. In which case, I'm listening, mum. My own man now. Scorpio Destroyers are maybe a little bit overdoing it. Necron Lord's been taken out, leaving one solitary solar pulse. And a good effort from the Necron player. But the Imperial Guard have just... I mean, how is your money situation doing? You've got plenty of money. And now for your aircraft. Don't think any more Scorpio Destroyers will be the way forward. What's that thing called? I mean, oh, you're in tier 4 now. So the... I won't speculate because I actually know what he's going to go for. So I won't spoil it for you. But there's a particular unit, aircraft there, I say, that will be very useful against Marauder bombers. But again, also, just Immortals, heavy destroyers. Don't know, that's always good. Marauder bomber now just coming in, focusing on the plasma generators. And then, you've almost killed it. Just finish it off. There we go. That's good stuff. Necron player hasn't got that much more money left. He's decided to start spending it all. He's going for some death marks. I suppose now that you've got plenty of infantry to deal with, death marks are quite good. Anything that they attack, they... now how would one say it? They mark the targets, they take more range damage. Yeah, those Medusas absolutely need to take them on. Necron Lord is back on Medusa on the back lines to keep him busy. Immortality being cast on the Ogrins a little bit later. I would have liked, as they are now down to just 2 Ogrins, are reinforcing themselves there. Also got the Caskins over here that have had that ability enacted, I do believe. And nicely that the Necron Warriors are not standing still, but walking forward, as the Necrons have got pretty good accuracy when firing on the move. So not a bad idea at all. Necron Lord still being a nuisance and actually pulling back those Cassicans. And one thing they could do as a Necron player is that your Necron Lord micro should be absolute paramount and something that you really practice. And so you could always keep an eye on this panel over here. When that starts going down a bit low, you activate your phase shift, and when it gets low again, you can then teleport him out of there, which we are not seeing. You can pull him back, wait for him to regen his health, and do other nefarious things. Deathmark's up. Bit suspicious coming around on this side. I see where he's going. He's going for the light cover, going for a flanking maneuver. When you've got the Medusa vulture gunship and plenty of other fire bits go off on this side, you can just basically focus you down. So we all saw those Immortals down on that side. came around thinking, oh yeah, we'll get a flank off. But no, because you don't have a solid... I mean, yeah, he had some stuff going on the front lines here. We didn't have enough to warrant all their attention being focused on those front lines there. So they were able to pull off some other units, take down these flanking stuff here. Vulture gunship still on this side, although it doesn't seem to have had much impact, really. Kill one plasma generator, but that's about it. They're now rebuilding it. You don't need that many, young man. You don't need that many. Oh, woman. I mean, I don't know if there's a lady playing here. There are some ladies that do play this game, believe it or not, boys and girls. I've seen it with my own eyes. Well, I mean, I've seen the replays, so to speak. And the Imperial Guard don't have that much, all things considered. I mean, we've got plenty of money to spend on stuff. This is prime tier 4 upgrading money. They're not going to. They're just going to keep on pushing on what they have. Deathmatch will be able to take out the guardsmen quite easily. Briars can slice up the sentinels with relative ease. Morsels, though, need to move a little bit forward to get involved in the engagement. Some players, you'll see that they'll select all the units and press Control 1, which will then group them all together. So every time you press the number 1, it will then pull them all, or select them all for you, so you don't lose out and forget to move some people. Look, right, is they're off on their own journey. I wonder... So while watching this for the first time earlier on, I was wondering to myself whether they've been put on... oh, what's that? Stance. It's not you stand your ground, it's the other one, where you move... If you've got like a little engagement on the go, they will follow a little bit. That might have been what's happened here. They're pulled off into that engagement, while Char Space Car was focusing on elsewhere places. If you want to avoid that, you just put them on stand your ground, and then you air move them when you want to engage with stuff. And that'll then make sure that they keep on and get involved in close combat, or just regular combat even. Risk is that sometimes they'll just stand around getting shot and do nothing about it. But then, if you're working on your micro, that won't be too much of an issue. Balls over here, like I say, just the... whatchamacallums, the... oh god, the Ghost Arcs, that's what I was trying to say. But he's going to go for a Decisive instead. Flying Croissant of Death, which is a relic unit for the Necron Lords. And aircraft in this situation, amazing to fly over the enemy and focus down on the Medusas. And here he comes. And just a couple of shots, especially from those immortals as well, takes him down. And off he goes on a journey unto himself. Of course, with a Vindicator Assassin knocking around. Focus on taking out the Medusas as best he can. Take a little bit of damage from the Vulture gunship. The curse of relic units that are aircraft is that they aren't the tankiest of relics. They can always come in to repair them. That's the one thing you can do. They'll be taking them out as the Imperial Guard are still just chilling out over here. They've killed stuff. Oh, I was too busy looking at Doomsav, so Warren looking down over this side. But people have died. People have been sad and humbled. And so now it's all down to a Doomsav, which, in theory, can take out a lot of this stuff. They've got no anti-vehicle OS stuff if they kill the Sentinel first and foremost. So, but you definitely need to repair him. As unsupported, concentrated fire will do him in over time. Not the best arc to return home in. He's attempting to take out the Medusa first and foremost. Quite risky. He's very low on health at the moment. Needs to get out of there. Surviving just with 96 health. Bill Scouts will come on over. Only one squad of Bill Scouts at the moment. It's a bit unusual. Fires are now out. Death marks firing in. God save the Emperor ability on the Ogrins. It'll make them a huge pain. That's why the Ogrins are so difficult to deal with in the later stages of the game. Just come in, bash things around. You can't kill them for like about 10 seconds. Once that goes down, fall down quite quickly. And now we're all seeing a Destroyer Tank Hunter, which is just basically what it says on the tin. Neutralized cannon on the front, which is ideal for smashing up Doomsives. Also got the Vulture gunships coming in, and that is all she wrote. Doomsive is the only thing keeping Necrons in the game there. And yeah, that's basically the full game. In a nutshell, you see the Necrons slowly but surely being wiped out, and that is the end of that. So yeah, so like I say, it's not like an official PvP workshop. I think that both players show enough skill that it doesn't require full-blown breakdown of every single choice that they made. I will have to say that from a Necron perspective, maybe a bit too many plasma generators on the go for them. Like I say, 6 is probably the amount that you need. That will carry you through most of the game. Maybe a couple more if you've got spare money and you've got nothing else to spend it on. I think that there were some points in the game where the Necrons could have played a little bit more aggressive, especially like when the Necrons initially pushed these guys back, able to reclaim their stuff, and way too much money so that they could spend it on other bits and bobs like, well, more units and stuff. But I think the main thing to take away from this game is the problem that a lot of newer players and lower skill players have against the Imperial Guard is dealing with the combined arms aspect of them. You've got the Guardsmen, the Cascans and Ogrins on the front lines, which are dealing some damage to you, but quite a lot of the damage is incoming from these artillery on the backgrounds. And we saw that Char Space Scout tried to do some flanking maneuvers, but it didn't really work out for him. So what do you do in that scenario when you've got the Medusas and you've got the Basilisks on the go, and they're wrecking your front line, and they're the main thing that you want to deal with? So, I mean, if you're playing Necrons or any faction really, aircraft is usually a good thing to do, as especially on a map like Fatamorga where there's some negative space and no one else can quite occupy it. Makes flanking a lot more easier. Do some damage, fly away as quickly as you can. Hit and run kind of stuff. Yeah, you've also got your transport vehicles, like Rhinos, in this case Ghost Arcs, other stuff like that, where you're able to put your anti-vehicle units in. They can move on over, which then also, because they're in a transport unit, they don't get bashed around by all the AoE damage from the artillery. Bring them over, pop them out, fire away, and then when they start getting knocked around, jump them back into the transport vehicle, and then pop them back out again when they're all standing firm and true. And yeah, there's probably more I could go into, but I can't think of anything. And I should have really written down the notes I wanted to write about, but I'm not that smart. So that's all you're getting from me, boys and girls. So thank you very much. I don't know who sent this game into the Discord, but whoever did, thank you very much for it. And yeah, if you want to join Discord, links in the description. Discord things happen over there. And if you want to support the channel, £1 a month gets you one extra game a week on the Discord. As been Mr. Landshark, pleasure's always never short. I will see you in a bit. Peace.